Today, everything just felt a little too much. Loneliness had completely taken over inside me. James's obsession with work was putting more and more distance between us every day. Lately, I found myself missing even the smallest interactions. I was so lonely that whenever someone was around, even the tiniest bit of attention felt amplified. So today I wanted something to change. I wanted to go to his room and surprise James. Maybe it would remind him that I actually needed him. But I didn't even know if it was the right thing to do. At first I hesitated, but then I decided to get ready. I put on my black mini dress, picked my high heels and carefully slid them on. I left my hair wavy, added a little red lipstick, making sure to highlight the backless dress. I needed a little confidence. Maybe this change would finally catch James's attention. I knocked lightly on his Los Angeles office door. There was nothing stopping me from walking in, but still, there was a hint of hesitation in my steps. That door symbolized his commitment to his work. As I stepped in, the silence of the office hit me. The only light came from the computer in the darkness. But James wasn't there. Instead, someone else was in the room. Ryan, James's best friend and business partner. Normally, I kept my distance from him outside of work conversations, but at that moment my eyes got stuck on him. He was sitting in a corner focused on something, yet completely aware of his surroundings. The moment I stepped in, I could feel that he had already read the entire situation. Ryan's gaze shifted to me for a second. There was something there. I could feel it. He had picked up on something. That brief flicker of attention suddenly made me feel vulnerable. In that moment, the emptiness inside me grew even more. The loneliness was so overwhelming that no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop myself from catching Ryan's attention. "Emma," he said, his voice soft. "James is running a bit late." I was waiting to talk to him. I didn't respond. I just felt the tension in the room. My steps brought out something deeper in Ryan's eyes. With each step closer, the space between us shrank. His eyes slowly turned towards me. I just let things play out like it was all planned from the start. "Are you alone?" he asked. His gaze caught me again, just a question, but I couldn't quite grasp the meaning behind it. Answering that question made me realize just how deeply alone I really was, both physically and emotionally. James's obsession with work was widening the gap between us, but I had no idea how to tell him that. The discomfort I felt walking into the room suddenly laid bare. The emptiness inside me, the loneliness, I could feel that Ryan had noticed. His gaze was like a spark, igniting something inside me. He saw me, really saw me. Feeling that made me understand what I was feeling. I could see how James wasn't treating me, but Ryan's attention was something else entirely. At that moment I just thought, maybe he was trying to get my attention. But his eyes were so deep, I started questioning if that thought was even right. "Emma," he said again, this time his voice was softer, more meaningful. "I really wanted to see you. But James's work. Sometimes it just takes all of you, doesn't it?" When he looked into my eyes, he saw the deep traces of my loneliness, my emptiness, my lost self. And right then I could feel that he recognized the void inside me. On one hand, it wasn't right. But on the other, the emptiness in that moment was almost like I was leaving all my feelings in Ryan's hands. Ryan took a step closer, and I felt his hand on my shoulder. Something inside me stirred. The excitement I felt gave me a little jolt, but at the same time it was tempting. The uncertainty in my eyes started fading under the warmth of his hand. But for a second I thought being this close might be wrong. I pulled back, taking a small step away. "What are you doing?" I asked, a mix of fear and curiosity in my voice. "Ryan, this is wrong." Ryan just gave a slight smile, keeping his hand on my shoulder. "What's wrong about it, Emma?" he said, his voice soft but insistent. "Do you know how much attention James shows you? Or more like, does he even realize your worth?" A sharp pain shot through my heart. Yeah, I felt it too. James's lack of attention cut me deep. But Ryan getting this close was only making my feelings more complicated. The way he showed interest in me, it was like he was filling in all the gaps James left empty. And with each passing second, this situation was only bringing us closer. With all my emotions tangled up, the weight of the silence made it harder to breathe. "Emma," Ryan said, taking another step and leaning toward me. "You're lonely, aren't you? Feel it. But there's someone here who cares, who knows what you're worth." His voice was pulling me in even more. Every word made the emptiness inside me deeper. But at the same time, the speed of this change and the closeness, it was scaring me. My feelings started to push against each other. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. Then suddenly Ryan locked the door. The sound of the lock echoed in the room. My heart started pounding fast, caught in a mix of fear and excitement. Somehow I wanted to escape. I took a quick step back. "No, this is wrong," I said. But the shakiness in my voice mixed with my hesitation. "Running away?" he said quietly. "Sometimes what you call the right thing, it can scare you, Emma." And right then I just froze by that door. But there was this urge inside me. No matter how much I wanted to run, it was impossible not to get caught up in the pull of that moment. Days passed, but my mind never left that room. Every touch, every glance, every whispered word echoed in my thoughts. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't deny it anymore. Ryan saw me in a way James never had. The way his voice softened when he spoke to me, the way his gaze never wavered, it was something I couldn't forget. My nights were restless, my thoughts spiraling. Then one evening I found myself outside Ryan's New York apartment. My heart pounded as I knocked on his door. The moment it opened, his deep eyes locked onto mine. "Emma," he murmured, a knowing smile playing on his lips. "I was wondering when you'd come." And just like that, everything changed.